Hey, Mill City. Welcome back to another episode of Know Your Leaders, the series where we're bringing you into the lives of the different leaders here at Mill City Church. And we've gone through our staff, and now we're working our way through our elders and our worship leaders. And so today I'm joined by my good friend, Topper Villafana. So, Topper, welcome to Know Your Leaders. And we're looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better today. And so, just very quickly, just help people know just a little bit more about you. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do.
Okay, so my nickname's Topper, and my real name's Sebastian. I'm going to be turning 50 years old next month, which sounds weird to say. Um, I've been in New England for going on 7 years now, which also seems kind of weird to say. Um, I've been working in the transportation industry for a little over 25 years, and I work at a software development company that writes software for people with special needs to get around.
That's awesome. So when you think about our church, so what are some of the primary ways you lead at Mill City?
So for the last couple of years, I have co-led a community group, a couple different community groups. I serve on the worship team. About half of the month, you'll find me in the back of the room, the sound booth, working on the visuals, so the sermon notes and lyrics and things that are displayed. I've kind of been the instigator of the men's breakfasts and service days that we've had over the last 3 or so years. And then I also serve as one of the currently four elders in Mill City.
Yeah, and you're a really valuable voice on the elder team because of your experience. I mean, you've been an administrator at a church before when you lived in Washington, and Topper actually served as a North American Mission Board missionary whenever he was younger in college, right out of college, and so I really appreciate Topper's voice, and I share all the time about how our elder team is just really nicely balanced, and we're not just always uniform in our ideas or our suggestions. And I appreciate Topper so much because he helps me think about things that I wouldn't normally think about. And so you're a very valuable voice on our team. So when you think about the trajectory that led you from basically coming to Mill City that first Sunday, I remember back, I think it was November of 2013 when you first came.
That's right.
And then a couple of years ago when you became an elder. So just describe just a little bit of what was that path like moving from just being a visitor to becoming an elder. What was that path like?
So the church has always been kind of important to me. And so when I came to New England in a new place, I knew joining a church, getting involved in a church would be really important. And one of the ways that I'm kind of wired is just to pitch in and serve wherever I am. And so I started doing that. We shared some of the ways I'm currently doing that. In the past, I've also worked with Mill City Kids and the First Impressions team. And I try to um, volunteer for events that we do at Merkland or Folk Fest or Winterfest. I don't think that has to be the norm, but that's just the way I'm kind of wired.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, so I think what happens, and we talk about this both at elders meetings, and it's been mentioned, I think, in these videos before, is that when we're looking for people who might fit the prototype of an elder, you're looking for somebody who's already serving and investing in people already. And I think I was just kind of already doing that, and that caught someone's attention. And then I was asked to consider that service, and then just thought about it, prayed about it, and talked to some trusted voices about that, and decided to accept that next level of service.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that describes your path pretty well. It is clear if you're around Topper for any length of time, he loves the local church and he serves the local church. He sacrifices for the local church. And you're just an excellent example in that. Topper, tell us a little bit about how you became a follower of Jesus.
Sure. So I did not really grow up in a Christian home, but my parents made sure that my sister and I could go to church whenever we wanted to. And I was your typical good kid. So going to church is what good kids did. So I went to church every Sunday. I was also kind of bright. And so I could, whether it was in school or Sunday school, you always have an answer for the teacher. You do your homework, you learn the lessons, you memorize the Bible verse for the week. And so I had a really good knowledge of God. And at the church I was going to when I was a child, we had a tradition of having this time at the end of the service where if God was doing something in your life, you could share that with the pastor and the church as a whole. And what happened is I really began to not like that time in church because God was working in my heart and it was causing me to be really emotional. And so I kind of suffered through that for several months and then shared that with someone finally who explained that that was God asking to be a part of my life and for me to surrender um, my will to His. And so we met with our pastor and he explained plan of salvation. And I indicated that was something that I wanted to do. And so I made that decision and then was later baptized and kind of just grew up in the church from that point forward. So I was about 8 years old when that happened.
Excellent. So Topper, you are when you look at our church is definitely a younger church, right? And I was actually thankful whenever you came to our church because back in some of our early days of the church, if I went out of town, the median age of our church would significantly drop. And so you brought a little bit of wisdom and years to our team, and I really appreciate you for that. And so, for someone of your stature who you've been around the church for a long time, you've invested in the church both on the West Coast as well as here. Um, you have a history of investing in people and serving. And so, what brings you the greatest joy in ministry, like serving in God's church among God's people? What brings you the greatest joy?
Yeah, so I think that one of the things that does bring me joy is when I'm in a position of leadership, is to basically try to delegate some of that leadership away and allow people to sort of stretch their comfort zone a little bit in terms of their ability or what they think their ability is to lead. And so I try to tap people with, whether it's leading a discussion group for a men's breakfast or if I'm leading a mission trip, I try to delegate roles on that trip so that people will take some sort of leadership role, and just to see them one flourish under God's guidance in what they're doing, and then just realize that they can actually also step up and lead as well.
Hmm. That's good stuff. That's the heart of Second Timothy 2:2. Really appreciate hearing that. So this is our fun part that we get to every video,
Sure.
our rapid fire. And this is where we're going to just get to learn a little bit more about what you like for fun and just kind of how you're wired. So I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. And kind of the first thing that comes to mind, although you've probably seen a few of these, so you probably know what's coming.
Yes, there's an advantage to going towards the end of the series.
Robbie was at the biggest disadvantage, but here we go. So the Christian book that has had the most lasting impact on your walk with God.
So there was a book written by Henry Blackaby a few years ago called Experiencing God. So I'd put that on the top of the list, although there are others obviously too. So.
Okay. All right. So on your iPod, so perhaps 3 albums you've listened to this week.
So I don't really listen to albums. I know that might seem weird. I pretty much only listen to music in the car while I'm driving. And of course, we haven't been driving as much lately with everyone staying at home. So whatever's just on my iPhone, I just let the song shuffle and play. So, when I leave here and go home, it could be Christmas music. I don't know what'll happen, but I will tell you though that there's a lot of Stephen Curtis Chapman on the list. There's a lot of Mercy Me and Jeremy Camp. That's on the Christian side. On the secular side, it's Huey Lewis and the News. So.
Nice 80s and 90s stuff there. Okay, so favorite sitcom?
Probably The Office.
Favorite drama, TV drama?
24.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Throwback. Favorite restaurant?
So fast food would definitely be In-N-Out Burger, but more realistically around here, it's Olive Garden.
Okay. Favorite movie franchise?
So I don't know if it counts. And again, this is probably my age, but does the Back to the Future trilogy count?
Of course it does.
All right. I pick that then.
Nice. Okay. So preferred free day destination, hiking in the mountains, chilling at the beach, shopping at the mall.
Chilling at the beach.
I knew you were going to say that. Okay. So Hulu, Netflix, or Disney Plus?
So I have Hulu and Disney Plus. I probably watch more Hulu. but there's just something classic about Disney, so I have to pick that one.
Can't argue with it. All right, yes or no, pineapple on pizza?
Yes.
And yet we're still friends.
Yes. Just no chicken on pizza. That's my rule.
See, I agree with that too, but we're losing people at this point. Okay,
Yeah.
a meaningful Bible verse.
So First Thessalonians 2:8. So having a fond affection for you, we are pleased to impart to you not only the gospel of God, but our own lives as well, because you become very dear to us. And I think that just talks to how the gospel goes hand in hand with living life, and there's a unity that happens in the spirit that draws us close to each other as that happens.
First Thessalonians 2, one of my favorite chapters in all the New Testament. Topper, you did great today. Thanks for joining us on Know Your Leaders, and we look forward to seeing you next time as we get introduced to yet another one of our leaders here at Mill City. Until then, Mill City, you are sent.